Hey guys, welcome to another lesson of Pro Teachers Do. Today with me, Ian, once again.
Hello.
And today, this is pretty much the last of the ends, at least until Avengers Twilight wraps up. Because I've gone over every single the end. I've gone over, and any type of final story type of thing in general. I've gone over, let me just see all of them. I've gone over Hulk the end, Fantastic Four the end, Iron Man the end, Marvel the end. There's only one I haven't done. That's Spider-Girl the end, but really, that's not really the end. That's why I don't count that one. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Would you agree?
Sort of.
Because remember, there were still other stories afterwards.
Right.
But then Punisher the end, Wolverine the end, X-Men the end, and Captain America the end, Captain Marvel the end, Deadshot the end, Doctor Strange the end, Miles Morales the end, Venom the end, the last Avengers story, Spider-Man Reign. We just went over Captain America the Chosen. Are there any other ones? I think that's it. Ruins kind of counts. Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe kind of counts. But yeah, I mean, I've pretty much got the only other thing I have left, sort of, is Earth X, but that's a big project to cover.
I mean, you could sort of argue that some of the Secret Wars miniseries are the ends, but they tend to be continuity rather than character focused.
In fact, to be fair, you do know Marvel the End's the only one that's technically canon. If it wasn't for the fact that Tom Brevoort keeps on stating that it isn't canon. Like, they keep on referencing it constantly. I find it weird when it comes to that story. You know why? Because obviously Jim Starlin didn't understand the project. He treated it as this, like, another Thanos story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Tom Brevoort didn't correct him. Then eventually Brevoort said that, oh no, it's not canon. And yet, every follow-up that has been done, that Starlin has done, represents the events of the story with Akhenaten, the main villain, and Brevoort has always been the editor of those books. So why the hell is Brevoort saying it's not canon and yet letting him reference it all?
I mean, I gave up trying to make sense of Brevoort's actions a long, long time ago.
But yeah, man, that is confusing as all hell, isn't it?
As I said, I don't attempt to explain the actions of Mr. Tom Brevoort.
Because, yeah, but even overall, you gotta admit, that is weird. And without Brevoort alone, that is still weird. Like, oh, it's not canon. Yet he keeps referencing it.
Yep.
But yeah, so now we're going over Silver Surfer Requiem by JMS. I think this is one of his last Marvel works before when he initially left Marvel.
And had he done Silver Surfer in other contexts?
No, well, he was working originally on a script for a movie. Nothing came about. And he worked on Fantastic Four, remember? I don't know if Surfer appeared in that.
Yeah, during the Civil War era, he was writing Fantastic Four.
He did a pretty good job, all things considered.
I haven't read it, so I can't say.
And that's also where he brought back Thor. No, so no, that can't be it, because he left with Thor.
I mean, he left in 2008, right? Or 2007?
No, it can't. No, 2007 would have been a year after Civil War. And obviously he stuck around for Fear Itself because he left for Siege, because he left because of Siege.
Huh, I didn't know that. I thought he was gone after one more day.
No, he's again, he did Thor. And he left because they wanted to destroy Asgard during Siege.
Yay, everything I've done, you're just gonna blow it up.
I don't blame him.
Nope.
I do not blame him.
Marvel is often dumb in how it... I mean, both companies are dumb in how they handle their creators.
But Marvel's more so. I feel DC's gotten better on track lately. Now that I've realized that
They go through phases.
I would say, now that I've realized that Joshua Williamson has been more of a showrunner of events, that actually adds a lot better context to everything.
Yeah.
If you ask me, that's much better thing to do, to have someone show run all of the events.
The problem with that is editors are supposed to be doing that.
But I think they're also acknowledging most of their editors aren't creatives.
Yes.
Which, to be fair, this recent batch of editors, I shouldn't expect them all to be creatives. The old days, yes. Nowadays, no. If you're going to go into comics and you're a creative, you'll go in as a writer, not an editor.
I mean, this goes back to what Perch says. They don't pay their editors enough.
No, they don't. But anyway, so yeah.
That's both companies. That's not just DC.
Yep. Also, this has artwork by Espen Ribic, who actually would work on Thor during Jason Aaron's run.
Wait, not Assad Ribic?
Yeah.
This is a different Ribic.
No, this is the same. Sorry. Let me double check. Assad Ribic. Sorry, that is who this is.
I was like, I know that name. There's more than one.
Sorry, I meant Assad Ribic. Sorry. Hold on. Yeah, Silver Surfer Requiem. He worked on this.
Nice.
And then eventually he would do another Marvel Knights with the Submariner, but different writer.
Boo, I hate Namor.
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 I'm not following what the movie says.
Namor.
But yeah, this is his final story. The cosmic hurricane rips through uncharted space at 1 million miles per hour. Gas plumes extending for 1,000 light years in any direction. Deep within the 30 light years wide superwind, clusters containing as much mass as a million stars erupt into explosions too vast for the mind to comprehend. Their cries signal the deaths of massive stars and the births of new ones. I am Norrin Radd, the Silver Surfer, wielder of the power cosmic, former herald of Galactus, devourer of worlds. I have traveled the galaxy, seen more than other eyes could hope to behold in 100 lifetimes, but I stare at the sight before me with the awe of a newborn child. Here is the cycle of life, writ large, to be born in fire and live in this bright flame of our passions, illuminating the world around us. We live and die in fire, knowing that when we die, we are reborn with the mind and spirit of those who will follow the path we have lit for them across the ages. The path that one day calls all of us home at the dying of the light. Hey, Stretch, where do you want this? You can just set it by the electropulse modulation system. Read? Sorry. The green flashy machine with the red blinky lights. Thanks. The green flashy machine with the red blinky lights and the red switches, or the green flashy machine with the red blinky lights and the yellow smoke rising out of the bottom. The green what? Just faking you out, Stretch. You're getting too easy to kid, Reed. You ought to try taking your eyes off the scope once in a while. Hey, there's a good question for you. If you can stretch out everything, then why don't you just sit in a nice comfy chair and stretch your eyeballs to reach the scope? You know, like in one of them cartoons. He can't. He tried it once, but it didn't work. And did it work? No, it worked fine, but it looked so freaky that Sue told him if he ever did it again, he'd spend the next 6 months sleeping on the sofa. The passive scientific experimentation is always a hard and lonely one. What was that, Stretch? I said I'm going to have to remember to put a lock on that door one of these days. Okay, fine. I can take a hint. Nothing good in the paper anyway. Hey, Matchstick, don't go too far with that. I want to look in the obituary. Check if anybody I don't like is in there. Ben, you don't like anybody. Yeah, that's why I like the Times. The obit section is huge, you know. I said it's huge. Johnny, Reed, you better check this out. There's somebody here to see you. Norrin, this is quite a surprise. Yeah, what brings you to the city? I mean, other than the bagels, the pizza, the babes. Ben, the museum, the opera, the new fall fashions. Dr. Richards, I need to speak with you. Alone. Oh, well, I suppose I can. No, Mrs. Richards, you can stay. But if the rest of you do not mind, this is a private matter. Not a prob. I've taken rejection from all kinds of people. I'll just be, whatever. Norrin, what's wrong? Like, so what? And so you got any idea what the heck's going on in there? Stretch had to come out in 2 days. No, they haven't said. I ran to Sue getting him and some food, but she didn't say anything. And what? She was crying in that way where it just falls like water, like she'd been crying all day, like she might never and ever stop crying again. Yeah, well, yeah. You don't think anything's wrong with the walking bowling trophy, do you? I don't know, Ben. I don't know. Norrin, I know the pain must be excruciating for you, but I need to run the test again. I need to be sure. I understand, Richards. Do as you must. Sue. Sorry, I fell asleep. What time is it? A little after 9. AM or PM? AM. Did you finish rerunning the test? About an hour ago. And the results are the same. There has to be something. There has to be something we can do. I wish there were, Sue. God in heaven, I wish there were. But the force that created his shell, that protected him from harm and age and cosmic rays, and anyway, it's thousands of years ahead of anything I can even begin to understand. There's nobody with that kind of knowledge. Nobody you can. Damn it, Sue. I did everything I could, but it wasn't enough. It's just, damn it. You did everything you could, Reed. You tried. I know. I'm just tired, that's all. Tired and angry. Like I could just, I know. Did you? Does he know? He knows. My name is Norrin Radd, and I'm afraid, not for myself, but for my world, for I have seen the coming of Galactus, and I have but one chance to save my world from his hunger. To save Zenla, I must offer up myself. But there are other planets, other worlds where no intelligent life exists. Find a world such as that. Do with it what you will, for even ants have a right to life. Alas, I cannot comply. I have not the time to seek such worlds. Had I a herald to probe the universe for me, then many worlds such as this world I spare. But there is no such one. Stop! I beg you to hear me out. If a herald you desire, then a herald I shall be. Let me probe the heaven, scan the stairways, roam the endless cosmos for you. All this will I do, if you will but spare my people, spare Zen and Zenla. Your words are spoke, so shall it be. Herald, prepare yourself. Prepare to be reborn. Thus was Norrin Radd erased, and the Silver Surfer born. A burst cry that could be echoed in the screams of 1,000 murdered worlds. I had hoped to lead the Galactus to only uninhabited worlds, but with my memory and conscience erased along with my name, we traveled from star to star. Worlds fell, billions died, civilizations were extinguished as suddenly as a child blows out a candle, and with as little remorse. Then came Earth, and something in the spirit of her people touched me in ways nothing else had. Their stubborn nobility in the face of certain deaths shamed me. They refused to be beaten down, like tall grass beneath a storm. 4 stood alone against the terror that was Galactus, as once I had. In so doing, they awoke what little remained of Norrin Radd. In that moment, I turned against him, and we arose in strength in that most desperate hour. The price paid was terrible, but for the first time, Galactus was turned aside. On that day, Reed and Richards returned a little of the mortal Norrin Radd to the Silver Surfer. From that day to this, I have seen things, done things that are nearly beyond imagination, things that would fill 1,000 mortal lives. I have explored the darkness between the stars, seen the rise and fall of vast civilization, done my best to atone for my past by bringing words of peace to planets that had known only the language of war, all too often without success. But I regret
2 things
nothing.
that are popping to mind here. The first one is the 1,000 lives thing is funny because of how many comics there are.
Yep.
And the other thing is, this really feels like JMS watched Blade Runner before writing this.
I regret nothing.
I've seen things you won't believe.
I know. Nothing. And now, Richards was there at the rebirth of Norrin Radd. It is only right that he should be here, now at the other end of that equation. I regret nothing. And neither should you. You have done all you could. I know, but I know. Do you know what you're going to do? Where you're going to go? there's anything at all that we can do, I am still deciding. I think I will first take a look around my adopted home. It has been too long since I've simply taken a moment to do that. And then I think I will go to my first home, Zenla. Yes, that feels right somehow. Do not feel sadness for me. I would not have been myself, would not have and would not have had even these years true to myself were it not for you. For that, I will always be happy and thankful. Goodbye, my friends. Goodbye, Norrin. Godspeed. Goodbye. So, Stretch, now that all the secrecy stuff is done, you mind telling us what in the sandhells is going on? What did you say to him? I said, the material that covers your body protects you from the cold of space and the heat of stars, from radiation and pain and loss of oxygen, and it's the most elaborate mechanism ever created, especially given that it's only a few microns deep. But no mechanism, no machine lasts forever, and this one's starting to break down because it's tied directly into your nervous system. As it begins to malfunction, so will you. The symptoms will be minor at first: dizziness, confusion, shortness of breath. At times, your abilities may fail you altogether. You may experience brief blackouts as it worsens. There will be pain, a lot of it. At times, it will be as though every nerve of your body has gone nova. Then finally, paralysis. First of the limbs, then the lungs will stop. The heart will stop, and I'm sorry, Norrin. I'm sorry. How long do I have? The deterioration is spreading quickly. It may be 3 weeks, a month at the outside. Richards, yes, I understand that on Earth there are insects, monarch butterflies, that often live only 2 weeks. To them, 2 weeks is a generation. So if I have but a month, then I have 2 generations of life yet ahead of me. I am blessed, Richards. I am blessed. Thank you. My name is Norrin Radd, the Silver Surfer, wielder of the power blah blah blah, and I am dying. I am dying. So yeah. Spidey.
This is it's very JMS.
But how's the artwork?
Gorgeous. I mean, Ribic is I recognize his name for a reason, I think.
Yep. Okay, fine. We all make mistakes. So how come mine almost always end up looking pretty much like this? Great. Now look what you're doing. Do you know what it could cost the city of New York to fix that? I mean, if they actually did that sort of thing? Nuts. Can't find a single part of that thing where my webbing will stick. It's smoother than glass, harder than diamond, and stronger than the Hulk's breath. Translation, I am so screwed. Well, that'll teach me to mind my own business. All I was going to do was go out and pick up some earrings for MJ's birthday. It was all going so easily. Excuse me, is this the price or is this the serial number? Because when there's this much money involved, there's usually a deal for somebody's soul going on. And I'd have to be reincarnated 2 or 3 times to have enough souls just to afford the down payment. What the heck is that all about? Oh, some guy stole a new high-tech mech suit the army was transporting somewhere, but it's over in the fashion district, and I don't know anybody who works there, so if you consider something closer to your price range, perhaps a glass kitty cat with a welcome to Miami engraved on the side? I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not impressed. I have seen that gesture before, you know. Sir, where are you going? Okay, look, this is your last chance to give up before I get rough. I've had a really bad day and nuts. Great, a bus. Why not just open up a delivery service for hostages? Can't let him get to the bus, no matter what. No telling how many people will hurt or kill to get out of here. I don't have a chance in hell of stopping him, but maybe I'll slow him down enough to get them to get away. Heck, I'll take at least a minute to stamp my spine, and that's good news, right? Oh well, who wants to live forever? Well, I did, but what the heck? Okay, that's far enough. I mean it. Stop right there, or stop and stop right there. Stop right there. Huh? He stopped. I think I actually managed to scare him. Except I don't think he's actually looking at me. I think this suddenly got a lot more interesting. We're given a warning. You would do well to heed it. Because between the brutalizers and their victims, there's always the power cosmic. Whoa! Okay, what is with the eyes being black?
I mean, if you look at the the movie costume, there was a lot of black in the lenses.
But not like
And
this.
well, I think the idea is that from certain lights and in certain lighting, you can see them as black, and it creates an unusual effect. Did you mute yourself?
Hello.
There you are.
I had my mic reset.
Oops.
I think, thanks. I mean, I had him on the ropes, but it probably would have taken me another 10, 20 seconds to bring him down. So that was a lot more efficient. Anybody ever tell you we have the best poker face in the history of really good poker faces? So what brings you to this part of town? I was in the area. The lives of innocent were at stake. So I did what I could. And now I must go. Whoa, you can't save the city and then just leave. There are rules, you know. We should celebrate. Come on, me and you. What do you say? We could go see a movie, get some popcorn. The sequel to Team America is playing uptown. What? It's called Team Canada. They fight for the first 10 minutes, then spend the rest of the movie apologizing for it. Oh, he's joking. All right. Come on, that was funny. Look, pal, nothing personal, but I can't fly, and I'm running out of things to swing from. So you want to slow up a bit here? Hey, I'm talking to you. Hey, what's wrong? And don't try and say nothing. I've seen nothing, and that's not it. Not that you could technically see nothing from my point, but my point is, look, something's bugging you. You want to talk about it or not? Very well. Yeek! It took him less than a second to go nearly half a mile and 10 minutes before he finally figured out what he wanted to say. For many years, your world has been my adopted home, but now it seems I must leave it and never to return. Why? But it's something we said? But it's something Howard Stern said? Because it wouldn't be the first time. My reasons are my own. He then sees the mark. Look, what I said before, all kidding aside, if there's something wrong, maybe there's something I can do, or no, nothing. I have been thinking that there must be something I can do for your world before I leave. I have been here for so long, enjoying its beauty, and confused by the brutality of your people toward one another. You are all the same species. You have the same goals, the same dreams, the same fears, eat the same food, sleep the same sleep. So you have to go out of your way to divide yourself, to make it easier to kill one another. Boundaries, nations, blocks, creeds, names, fashion. You kill one another for a pair of sneakers. Your leaders oppress and exploit you in their own power, and you allow it happily. And if so doing, they can kill those who you have decided are not like you. You are a race of madmen. Yeah, we get that a lot. I keep thinking that there must be something I could do, some way I can fix this before I go. And I gotta say, J-Man is really matching how Stan Lee handled him. You know, talking philosophically about issues.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing. So I thought, you are a human. Perhaps you would have an idea. Me? Do I have any answers for fixing up the world on the kind of scale you're talking about? Well, sure. Well, no, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't either. Getting rid of all the Mundu CDs in the world would be a start. But still, okay, let's work through this. I mean, you're right. There must be something. You could go around countries and kick out and hold governments using your cosmic power. The power cosmic. That's what I said. I mean, who could stand up against that, right? But there's no guarantee what comes afterwards will be any better. Lately, it seems like the next punch is always worse than the last one. You could solve poverty by going places nobody's ever gone to and come back with more riches than anyone's ever seen. Diamonds, gems, gold. But too many jewels flying to market could cause their value to drop until they become worthless. And then you're right back where you started. Except now you're also bankrupted several more countries who depend on those industries and triggered a worldwide financial collapse. You could strand all the world politicals and religious leaders in the same place, no food, no water, on the premise that sooner or later logic will prevail and they could work together, ironing out their differences in the name of common sense and mutual survival. Or not. Or you could, no, that wouldn't work, or see, this is why we mainly just fight the bad guys one at a time, because it's one thing to stop a bad guy from doing evil. when we can agree on what evil is, but it's something else to try to change how people are. You could, yeah, no. Some people actually like Brussels sprouts. I just, no. Okay, since nothing else is working, I have to ask because I've always wondered, why the surfboard? I mean, don't you think it's kind of, I don't know, hokey? It is not a surfboard. There's a human phrase that covers it. Form and follows function. I need no air, no food, no water. I do not need a ship to sustain me. I need only something that will carry me where I must go. Yeah, but why not a flying car or a small ship? Why a board? Imagine the depth of space, not just miles beneath above and beside you, but whole galaxies. Imagine standing in the limitless darkness between the stars with nothing between you and the universe. Imagine being able to move through that majesty, unfettered, unencumbered, free, the beauty, the terrible, majestic beauty all around you. Thus freed even once would you ever wish to surround yourself with a shell again and deny yourself that beauty? No, I guess not. I see your point. I can't even imagine what that must be like. Imagination is not required. You may see for yourself. I can temporarily invest you in a very small amount of power cosmic, allowing you to experience what I have said for yourself. No. I mean, I'm tempted, but I have things to do. Maybe next time. I'm afraid that will not be possible. If you not go now, you never shall, because there will not be a next time. No, I can't. But would you mind letting someone else experience this? That would depend on who this someone else is. I don't know, Peter. Is this really such a good idea? Trust me, MJ, it is. This is the one of whom you spoke? Yes, this is a friend of mine. Her name is Mary Jane. Greetings to you. Hello. How should I? My name is Norrin Radd. As he says it, I'm ashamed that I never sought to ask him his name. I've always seen him as that guy, not a person. I have to fix that some. But no, I can't now, can I? Has he explained everything? Yes, but then clear your mind of all thoughts and prepare to experience the power cosmic. MJ, are you all right? I can see the world's heart beating. I can hear everything. Then quickly, before the moment fades, take your place and think where you wish to go, and it shall take you. You will not suffer from air or feel the cold, and you will not fall. So, you got a deck of cards while we wait? And she was gone for less than an hour, but for days afterwards she would try to describe what she saw, what it felt like. I've seen some pretty incredible things in my time, which is why I thought it was important to let her see those things for once. But even I can't imagine what it must have been like. I only remember what she said when she came back to me. MJ, are you okay? What's wrong? I was free. My God, I never felt anything like that. Thank you. Happy birthday, MJ. I love you. Wait, why is she wearing a headband like Gwen?
Ribic didn't get the memo?
Or something. Did you notice that, right?
I do see it now.
I love you, Shalabal. I will never leave you. Never. Thank you. It was my honor. Now I must wait before you go, because of all of this, I may have an answer to the question you asked earlier. And I told him. And much as it has surprised me, he agreed. And shouldn't we stay just to make sure he's okay, or not right now? For what he's going to and to let loose, I think the further away we are, the better. At least I think so. I hope so. I told him that people can't change what they are until and unless they understand what they can be, unless they can know it and feel it in their hearts. If he can extend the power cosmic to MJ and let her feel what he feels, let her experience the kind of freedom he has experienced, let her see the world as he sees it, and whole beautiful with the prospect of peace always at the center of it, then might it not be possible for just a moment to let the whole world feel what that's like? Assuming, of course, the effort doesn't kill him first. In prison cells where light could not penetrate, in cities and villages where the gnawing ache of hunger was eternal and tangible, in torture camps and war zones and the parliament of tyrants, in distant places where hope had become a mockery and tomorrow was only a promise of continued pain and suffering. in the thoughts of those who caused violence because they knew no other way, whose own minds were as torn and tortured as those they harmed. For 5 minutes, they and the whole world knew what it was to be and what it was to be at peace, to be free. 5 minutes. It was all he could afford because more would have killed him. Just 5 minutes. But whole worlds have turned on even briefer moments. Who knew what fruit his actions might bear in future? And the only thing he ever wanted was to bring peace to the world. And for my 5 minutes, he did just that. How many people do you know who could say the same? You all right? Yes, I am all right. The power returns to me, and with it, I can feel them. I can feel the whole world like a great sigh in my heart. And in that sound, I realized for the first time that I too am at last at peace. Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you. I must go now. Are you sure you can? I am fine. Goodbye, my friend. Goodbye. As he rose in the sky, I thought how sad that we did not know him better. How sad that his voice was heard so little when he had so much to say. Why do we always realize these things when it is too late to do anything about it? I watched him for as long as I could, and then finally he was lost in the clouds. I never found out where he went after that or what he did. I never saw him again in my lifetime. Requisite in pace, my friend. You've earned it. Okay, I like that.
It was all right. The MJ thing made me think a lot about the Other and what they go on a space mission with MJ and
Yeah, but it worked
Aunt
here
May.
if you ask me.
What?
It worked here though, if you ask me.
I didn't say it didn't work. I just said it reminded me a lot of
Right.
it.
No, I know. From what he knows about the last time he soars above the breathtaking vistas of the world he has called home for so many years, and his heart aches not with sadness but with joy at the thought that there can be so much beauty of so many different kinds in one single world. They have been blessed, and so has he, and he wonders if they will ever truly understand the extent of that blessing. He ends in the place where he arrived, both most recently and at the beginning. It is appropriate and right that he should now leave from this very spot. Then he hears a voice. Hello, Norrin. I'm glad I was able to catch you before you left. Stephen, what are you? Dr. Richards called me because doctors always consult other doctors when they find themselves at the end of a diagnosis they can't beat, in hopes that someone else can provide some better answers. Some say a man can be measured by his enemies. Others say you are known by the quality of your friends. If the mix of varied minds who have given their every thought to your situation since they learned of it is any indication, then the quality of your soul is beyond human measure. They have not eaten, slept, or stopped in their efforts, but in the end, I'm sorry. All that we can give you is this. Within this flame burns all the knowledge of our world, all the secrets we have hidden, all the truths we have forgotten, all our songs, all our stories, all our greatness is all of our foolishness. It is divided in two parts, that which existed before you came and that which was created after you came and saved our world from extinction. The fire of that knowledge will merge with you, will always be a part of you. Turn your thoughts to it, tune your spirit into the frequency of your flawed humanity, and you will hear it all. This way, you will always know what you perceived and preserved and what was created through your kindness. Thank you, Stephen. Nor and I don't have the words. I thought I did, but I don't. I know. The stars look especially beautiful tonight, do they not? I think I shall go and see them now. Goodbye. For 8 days, he rides the cosmic tides as he never has before, despite the strain of such speed, passing binary stars and pulsars, red giants, and the nurseries of stars waiting to be born. He pushes past the pain and effort, knowing that his time is short and getting shorter as he has far to go to reach his destination. Like a fish swimming upstream to end its life in the familiar waters where it was born, he finds himself drawn across the stars, drawn home to Zenla, but as ever, the path of the Silver Surfer is neither clean nor straight, and runs always through the mechanism, follies, and passions of war. Uh-oh! The Surfer pauses at the tentative touch of another's thought, a whispered request. Come, for we have much to discuss. Thank you for answering our call. I am Phil of Linaz. This is Tikal of the Rumati. Yes, now that we see you up close, there's no mistaking. You are a herald of Galactus, are you not? I was such once, yes. Why have you summoned me? You see before you the fleets of our two species locked in battle. A magnificent sight, is it not? Each year, more and greater ships join the ranks of both sides, each vessel more powerful and destructive than the one it replaces. Each year, you say. How long have your two worlds been fighting this war against one another? The reckoning of days and years varies by time and place and rotational cycles, so let's simply say that we have been fighting the sacred war for over 50 generations. Our worlds orbit the same star. I just realized this sounds like Superman Earth 1 was Krypton on that other planet.
I mean, it's JMS.
Reusing his own stuff. And while for ages
Well,
we
I
could
mean,
not
this was. Oh no, that's a different universe. Yep, you're right.
Yep. And while for ages we could not travel from one world to the other, we were able to monitor one another's communication. We expected they would believe as we believed, and would know the maker of all things as we did. We found heathens and heretics, different gods that were not our gods. Their shrines were not our shrines. So it was quite obvious, you see, we could not allow this blasphemy to continue if the Rumati did not believe as we did. If we could not make the Linaz believe as we did, then they would have to die. We dedicate generations into building our war machines. So you get where this is going. They're constantly at war over beliefs. And now each year they just keep on doing it, rebuilding and striking down. Again, it's just like Superman Earth 1. You know what I mean? I do not understand. Your people suffer and die and sacrifice for your cause. Yet here you, the leaders of your people, sit together in comfort. Why? Why not? We are above such brutish endeavors as combat. Our place is to lead, to inspire. Our people want us to live in such comfort. Is a validation of our sanctity. From here, we can together watch the progress of the war and speak of matters far, far above the understanding of others. Okay, that's different. And what assholes! Right? Magnificent, is it not? Why have you summoned me? My people registered your approach of their scanning, and I requested I speak with you, as did mine. Because our technologies grow at parallel speed, we are evenly matched. As a herald of Galactus, they hoped that you would have the power and wisdom to decide which side was true, which side was right, and tip the balance, intervene to end the war on their behalf. But I see no difference between you, which is as it should be. The war will end when it ends, but we are in no rush. We told them we would speak with you. This we have done. You may go now. Huh. And here begins the tale of the end of the sacred war. He takes out both their ships! The stranger moved between the fleets, taking away their weapons. They struck back, though they believed they could not hurt him. But to their surprise, hurt him they did, because the weakness, the sickness was upon him. Yet despite his pain, despite all that it did to him, he did not slow, did not stop, would not surrender to the pain. And then when he had destroyed the ability of the two great fleets to make war upon one another, he made his way first to one of their worlds, then the other. He came to each of their shrines, our holy temples, whose safety and invaluability we believed were granted and protected by no less than the maker of all things, and proved otherwise, proved that there was no greater hand at work than our own, proved that neither side was more right or more holy than the other, showed us the conceit of our beliefs. And in that moment, we all understood exactly what had become of our sacrifices and our sweat and blood. We understood what had been taken from us, what we had been tricked into giving them. On that day, more blood was spilled, but this time it was not ours. This time we would make an end of it. This time we would be freed. And the sacred war was over, and that day became something greater, the sacred peace. Neither world was the stranger ever seen again. In the slow turning years, we learned that he had left the mortal world, that he had died. He would never see that which we built to commemorate his action. Never knew our gratitude, but we would never forget. nor would we forget the words he spoke to us before he left. If sacred places are spared the ravages of war, then make all places sacred. And if the holy people are to be kept harmless from war, then make all people holy.
Yeah.
JMS!
JMS is very much who he is.
Reminds me of Superman Grounded.
Yeah, I just fundamentally disagree with him on a philosophical level. That means I'm just like, yeah, this is a nice idea, but JMS, that's just very silly.
Now, to be fair, in this instance, he basically came up with a whole situation where this could work because they were so identical. Except for the beliefs.
And I think he's being very
naive.
Well, it's a combination of naivety and condescension. Because
yep,
if you don't
remember, he's an atheist.
I know.
A trail of silver passes through the last issue. Trails through the heavens, traveling at the speed of starlight. Ships drawn to investigate come alongside, but do not approach further. They pass in silence. Whether their deference emanates from respect or grief or genetic memory, the reason is the same. Universal recognition of a need shared by all species, all races, all worlds. The need at the end of all things to go home. Oh man, look at him. The spots.
Pretty dramatic.
Home. Zenla. Home. Norrin. Shalabal. Yes, my love, you're home. Be at peace. You've come a long, very long way, and shh. Though we have only had a few days in which to assess your condition, it is our consensus that there is nothing that our science can do to help you. Which is not the same as saying that there's nothing that we can try, my lady. We discussed this, my lady. If you were to attempt to give back to Norrin the portion of the power cosmic you were given, we have no assurances that it will make any difference. And in our considered opinion, it would do great harm. It could kill you, my lady, and I ain't prepared to take that risk. So it must be done to Shalabel. No, listen to me. And though it was a part of my decision, if you believe I came all this way just to die, then you do not understand. I came also to know that you live, to see you alive, so that I may carry that vision across with me when the darkness comes. When we die, we take comfort in knowing that those we love will continue for as many tomorrows. Sorry, just checking something. Many tomorrows as the universe can give us. It is a joy. Would you take from me at this hour my last source of joy? No, I could not, but then live, Shalabel. Live for me and regret nothing, because I do not regret a moment spent living for you and for our people. Live. As word spread of Norrin Radd's return and his coming death, the people of Zenla arrived in ever-increasing numbers. They came to thank him for saving them and their world and their children and their children's children for untold generations to come. They came to tell him of all the joys he had created, the possibilities that existed because of his intercession. They came to say goodbye. And as they passed and they touched his hand, they came away with something more, a touch of something greater. It would be called the Mark of Norrin. In years to come, whenever there was anger or rage or violence, the mark would turn colors to remind him of the man who had made peace his cause, his life, and who had ultimately died in its service. It was not always enough, but it was enough most of the time. If any man, any living creature can claim a greater legacy in death than that, let him come forth. They come for days on end, and though the physicians urged him to withdraw, that enough was well and duly enough, no one remained, and took comfort and solace in their words, their tears, their stories, and their lives. For he had saved them all from Galactus at the cost of his own life, which and such deeds are not soon forgotten. Nor are the signs and portents of that day forgotten. such as the shadow cast by the great machine used by Galactus to devour the world he encountered. No! Such memories are engraved upon the soul, written in the genetic code and images of fire and terror. The terror that might, and that such a shadow might come again one day. Norrin, what are you? I must go to him. No! I saved Zenla by pledging my life to Galactus. Was my life about to end? He may have decided to finish that which he began. If I can turn his wrath from our world to me, then perhaps we can yet. Norrin, please don't do as my lady. We have received a message from the ship. It is broadcasting on every frequency known to our science to ensure we did not miss it. Galactus says, Norrin Radd, come forth. And he did. So it was that Norrin Radd had known the infinite freedom of space and ridden the cosmic currents across all of time and space, was carried on the backs of his people, no longer able even to walk. In the years Norrin Radd had served Galactus as the Silver Surfer, he had seen his master enraged, quiet, sad, even occasionally at peace. But now in the face that had watched whole worlds destroyed without a flicker of emotion, for the first time he saw grief. And a thought entered his mind from without, as familiar and intimate as a whisper. I do not know that I can save you, but I can try. No, and to all things there is a time. This is mine, but I would ask a favor. Though, and again the thought came, I know your mind be at ease. I will never harm Zenla or allow it to be harmed by others. I would never allow anyone to harm the world that is the heart and soul of the most honorable being I have ever known. Let go the burden of the flesh, Norrin Radd, and be at peace. I'm flying, shouted Bell. Do you see me? I'm flying. I'm flying. For the traditional 3 days of grieving, Galactus remained where he stood, as mourners prepared past, and Norrin's body was prepared for Galactus and for the people of Zenla. It would be the first time they had looked to one another without the barrier of fear between them, joined in their shared loss. For the first time, Galactus, devourer of worlds, had a world where he could be ever welcome. Goodbye, my love. Goodbye. Galactus, if you would truly honor when he who was my love and my heart and my life, then I would ask something of you. Make your request. And she did. Moments later, Galactus' ship rose, tearing through the skies towards the stars, and when it had reached the correct distance from Zenla, Galactus kept his promise. The newly birthed star was positioned always to be on the dark side of Zenla, to cast a glow in the night that would remind the world not so much of his sacrifices, not so much what he lost, as what he gave. The light of hope, the light of love, the light of possibilities. Astronomers on a thousand planets would name this new star, each according to its own world's own myths and beliefs, but only on Earth, poet of a long ago year summed it up. When he shall die, take him and cut him into little stars, and he shall make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with night, and pay no worship to the garish sun. It was at the birth of new stars and the death cries of old ones that Norrin Radd began the journey that would be his last, a pilgrimage that would mark a new star born in the wake of another that had passed. And I wonder if he knew, or if knowing, he would have approved. I hope he would. But although I am the watcher, and I see all things, I do not know all things. I can only hope, which is right and proper, for that was the gift of his life, to create hope where none previously existed. I know only this, that his name was Norrin Radd, once the Silver Surfer, herald of Galactus, that his action saved the lives of billions, that he was my friend, and that he shall be missed. So how was that?
With the exception that I was kind of irritated with issue 3, it was very good.
Yeah, and he gets Surfer.
I mean, I don't know Surfer, so I can't say that, but I'll take your word for it.
Stanley always used Surfer as his mouthpiece for his philosophical beliefs, and the proper writers would handle it. This guy who's coming from outer space, who knows other things, and then sees Earth, and then would criticize things and all that, which was perfectly in the second issue.
I mean, the Spidey issue was fun because it was nice to see JMS do Spidey and MJ again.
Just like he did in that issue of Captain America, at least with Spidey. Spidey appeared in an issue of Captain America.
Yeah, but MJ didn't.
No, I know. I said it was just Spidey. I said it was just Spidey.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so artwork was gorgeous. And again, I would say, this is interesting because it's clearly set in an alternate present day. It's not in the future or anything. It's just treated as if it was just present.
Yeah.
But clearly not canon.
That removes the necessity of doing a lot of distracting world building.
Right, exactly. But overall, I mean, there's no explanation of why this is happening. Exactly why this is happening to him. It just is.
Life, man, it always ends.
I know, but again, now how would you compare it to Captain America: The Chosen?
Very similar. I mean,
yeah,
that Logan thing. they have that same Logan thing. This was
better or lesser?
I feel like it's a little better just because Norrin and the characters he interacts with are characters, whereas the soldier is not a character.
No.
So I think that makes this better.
Agreed. Plus, I would also say that it just felt like this was more about Surfer than The Chosen was for Cap.
Yeah.
I mean, for Cap, I mean, and that does because JMS has worked with all these characters. Morale clearly did not for Cap.
Yeah.
But for this, again, aside from the Strange portion was good. I like how everyone worked to try and help him, but there's no helping.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, do you think Galactus put him out of his misery? Do you think that's what happened?
I wondered.
I think he did.
I think it's possible.
And it would make sense. But yeah, so like I said, that's pretty much it for all of the ends. And I would say this wasn't bad. It definitely felt. Would you say this felt the end as well, or did it feel even more different?
Yeah, I'd say this feels like at the end.
Yeah. And again, it had more to. This is kind of proving with Captain America: The Chosen that it just, you just have 4 issues. Granted, this could have been done with 3 issues.
Yeah.
Skip that third one, but again, this show, it got right to the point. It didn't meander too much, search that issue notwithstanding. Whereas The Chosen,
yeah, that could have been 4 issues.
Yeah. So again, and now, which artwork was better? Hard to say.
So Ribic is more polished, but like Brightweiser is right for the story being told, you know?
I would agree. I think Ribic, this was a good starting point because this is one of his earliest works.
Yeah, but I mean, this very much looked like the Eternals run he did with Gillen.
But that would be years later, but yeah.
Yeah.
But, and again, the Aaron Thor run. But, I mean, hey, he also did King Thor when they wrapped it all up. But yeah, I feel this was a better farewell than Cap's. It ended in a similar way to Cap, but this one felt it meant more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the Cap one, it felt like, again, it feels like a novelist who has never written a Marvel book coming up with something specifically for one character.
I mean, JMS is JMS for a reason, right?
Right. Again, nothing against Morale. Nothing against him whatsoever.
No.
But when you compare it to JMS, you know what I mean? Yeah. But again, and I gotta say, between this, The Chosen, and Spider-Man Reign, say what you about how bad Reign was, it still felt like an interesting send-off.
Except it's not.
Although the Rain, let's be honest, Rain was going more the Dark Knight Returns route.
Yeah, maybe one day you should do like a DC the End companion to this, or are you already planning on that?
I've already done most of the Dark Knight stuff.
Right, but there's others.
Like what?
Wonder Woman, Dead Earth.
Okay, I will eventually get to Dead Earth, definitely.
Immortal Wonder Woman from Future State.
No, I'm not going to do any of the Future State books.
No, Future State Immortal Wonder Woman is really good. You should do it.
No. I've read them. I'm just saying I'm not going to cover them.
You should. It's a good one.
Dead Earth, I will definitely plan on doing. I plan on doing a lot of Black Label books. But yeah, by the way, the only Frank Miller Batman book I still haven't done yet is All Star.
Why
All-Star
would you do that one?
Because it's the only one left.
That's not a good reason.
I've done all of them. I'll have this. Can I tell you something about that book? I felt it got better once they got to the Green Lantern issue. That's when things turned around and you actually realized what he was going for.
Better is still not good.
Would you acknowledge that, though? That's the point where you realize it took way too long to get to that point.
Which issue is the Green Lantern issue?
I think issue 8, I believe. The one where they're all painted in yellow on the cover. That's the issue because Robin nearly killing Hal. It's when Bruce finally realized, crap, what was I doing? I had time to mourn. And I just started getting her trying to make him a killing machine. And it's the whole realization that it took Robin to mellow Batman out from the crazy Steve side. By the way,
I have a difficult time saying that the book got better at issue 8 because issue 8 is one of the ones that makes me feel physically ill.
All right, but I will just say this. Something I realized about Dark Knight Strikes Again. I know everyone likes to trash it how Batman treated Robin, but did you ever wonder this? Did you ever think maybe he realized he was too far gone to do anything, so all he was doing was just taunting him to keep him distracted, that he already knew there was no talking to him? When he was, Joker, Jason, Dick, Robin Joker.
I have only read Dark Knight Strikes Again once, and it was like 15 years ago, and I'm never reading it again, so I don't remember.
I'll be honest. I went going back over it. It was bad, but it's not the worst thing I've ever read. There's a lot that's good in it, just executed poorly. And then you realize there's a lot of, you can start to realize what Frank is going for when you actually go over it with an open mind. But then you also realize, did you really have to go there?
Frank thought he did.
Yeah, then he also did Holy Terror.
I'll
tell you this, still one of my favorite Frank books? The Martha Washington series.
Oh, yeah?
That is hands down, one of his best. For one, she's not a whore, she's not a hooker. She's not a prostitute.
That's a nice.
She's one of his best women, and I think it's because Dave Gibbons was helping him with it. You should look it up. The Life and Times of Martha Washington.
I've read part of it. I can't remember if I've read the whole thing.
There was Give Me Liberty, and then Happy Birthday, Martha Washington. All that. But I would read that collection because it has everything. But anyway, so yeah, Silver Surfer send off. It was good for what it was.
Yeah.
And worthy of the end title, would you say?
Yeah, for sure.
But I would definitely say Requiem also was appropriate. Very appropriate.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that's all we've got, guys. Thank you for tuning in. See you guys on the next one.